Chinese hackers are targeting the U.S. with potentially damaging cyber attacks.
FBI Director Wray warns Chinese cyber hackers are already inside U.S. infrastructure, that they're going to deal a, quote, devastating blow to the power grid, water treatment plants, to, quote, induce panic.
Director of the FBI is detailing the threat China poses to the United States. Critical infrastructure, he says, is a prime target.
The worst case scenario is that they could turn off our lights, damage our water treatment, and stop our cellular phone communications in the event of an invasion of Taiwan.
More warnings coming out from FBI Director Wray in the last 24 hours that cyber attacks from China against the United States' infrastructure systems will be coming here very soon. Take a look at the latest headlines. Chinese hackers preparing to physically wreak havoc on U.S. critical infrastructure, FBI director says, and he says that the hackers want to induce panic. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the actual video footage so that way you can see it for yourself. And in addition to that, we've also heard in the last 24 hours, there have been retaliatory strikes from Israel against Iran. Iran has responded, saying that there was little to no damage. It was a poor display by Israel. Israel showing that they can infiltrate Iranian territory, and Iran also hit with sanctions by Israel and the U.S., and they are saying they could be changing their nuclear status. Now, stick around to the end for some more updates on that, but I'm going to be sharing with you the latest video footage as what the FBI director had to say about cyber attacks against the United States. Now, before we dive in, do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, don't forget to take a quick second, hit that like button for me. Just supports the channel. Thank you so much. Also, to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and to stay connected off of social media platforms in case there are cyber attacks, consider joining the newsletter at www.steveramnews.com. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in and get you caught up on the latest.
In light of the fact, because of this, FBI Director Christopher Wray says Chinese hackers are targeting the U.S. with potentially damaging cyber attacks.
There has been far too little public focus on the fact that PRC hackers are targeting our critical infrastructure, our water treatment plants, our electrical grid, our oil and natural gas pipelines, our transportation systems. China's hackers are positioning on American infrastructure in preparation to wreak havoc and cause real-world harm to American citizens and communities.
Michael Lucci just launched State Armor, which is a nonprofit to combat CCP influence in the U.S., and he joins me now. Michael, that was quite the statement by Christopher Wray. What is the worst-case scenario as you see it?
The worst-case scenario is that they could turn off our lights, damage our water treatment, and stop our cellular phone communications in the event of an invasion of Taiwan. And Director Wray said in 2027, they want to be able to invade Taiwan. To do that, they want to disrupt life here in the United States of America, to break our will to respond to that aggression. So we've seen this in Texas, where I live. They've put malware onto our electric grid because they want to be able to shut it off. That's why the federal government and state governments need to speed and accelerate solutions to protect our critical assets here and to protect our citizens.
That's your business. You're in the business of combating the CCP in the U.S. So how? How do we fight back, Michael?
Well, like in the state of Nebraska, they found that our nuclear missile silos are surrounded by Huawei telecom equipment that's used to intercept our communications. The state of Nebraska said that all needs to be ripped out immediately. Here in Texas, they said no investments from adversary nations in our critical infrastructure. In Florida, they're protecting the data that citizens turn over to the state government. These are all essential solutions. We need to build supply chains based on free countries. That's what state and federal governments and private sector need to buy from. That's what we need to build an economy around. We need to protect our critical infrastructure, build supply chains based on freedom, and make sure that that malware and that technology that could be used against us doesn't get into our supply chains.
In February 2022, Wray said the FBI opens a China-related investigation every 12 hours, and 2,000 plus cases were underway. He also went on to say, look, even if we devoted all of our FBI resources to just the CCP, we'd be outmanned 50-1. So, Michael, how? How did we let ourselves become so vulnerable here?
Well, we tried to welcome China into the liberal world order, as we call it. And as they came in, they proved that they are still a communist country. And so Director Wray made a really important point. He said this isn't about the Chinese people, it's about the communist government. And that's why he described this multi-pronged assault and a whole of government attack on the United States of America. That's why we need a whole of government solution here, including the private sector, the federal government, as those experts were testifying yesterday, and of course, state governments need to step up as well as they are. That 50-to-1 ratio of those Chinese hackers outnumbering FBI agents who are tasked to stop them, we have to reverse that. We have to use our state assets and our federal assets together in synergy, aligned to protect America.
You mentioned the land around the nuclear areas in Nebraska. Shouldn't every state at this point be banning the CCP from buying any land within their state borders?
Yes, that's exactly what should happen. We actually saw the governor of Missouri recently issue an executive order to make sure that they can't buy any land near military bases. So first, protect our military assets. That's most critical. That's where we keep seeing them buy land. Here in Texas, 130,000 acres near Laughlin Air Force Base on our border with Mexico as well. In Missouri, they're working on it. In Florida, they're working on it. In states across the country, they're saying keep the land specifically near military bases, free of the Chinese Communist Party. But you're absolutely correct. It should be all land in the state. These are free soils of the United States of America. We shouldn't be allowing a communist government to set down roots on our free lands.
House Select China Committee. He's Congressman Justy Johnson. Congressman, it's good to see you again. Congressman, what do you make of this? How serious is this threat? FBI Director Wray warns Chinese cyber hackers are already inside U.S. infrastructure, that they're going to deal a, quote, devastating blow to the power grid, water treatment plants, to, quote, induce panic, that they could do that. What do you think? Is that serious?
Liz, this is a major threat. This is not just fear-mongering. We know that this infiltration has happened. And you're right, it's generally in the infrastructure space. Think water, wastewater, energy, telecommunications. Obviously, what we found, we have been able to root out of those systems. The question would be, of this big initiative of the Chinese Communist Party, Volt Typhoon, how much have we not found? And so the Biden administration, one good thing they have done is in their budget, they've called for an extra $13 billion to invest in cybersecurity. We need this investment. This is where the battle of today and tomorrow will be fought. Our defenses have not been strong enough.
So, yes, spend more money, but the question is, tens of thousands of Chinese nationals are now crossing the border illegally. We'll get your reaction to that, sir. We want you also to react to FBI Director Wray here. Let's take a listen.
The PRC has made it clear that it considers every sector that makes our society run fair game in its bid to dominate on the world stage, and that its plan is to land low blows against civilian infrastructure to try to induce panic. The fact is, the PRC's targeting of our critical infrastructure is both broad and unrelenting. It's using that mass, those numbers, to give itself the ability to physically wreak havoc on our critical infrastructure at a time of its choosing. But these vital sectors, we're talking about everything from water treatment facilities and energy grids to transportation and information technology, form the backbone of our society.
So it goes even beyond that into U.S. transportation and the information technology sector. So, and at a time of its choosing, you heard the FBI director there. What's your reaction?
Unfortunately, he's exactly right. We have not been paying enough attention to this. We are finally starting to wake up to the 360-degree threat that is the Chinese Communist Party. For a long time, I think we've understood the military problem. China's got more fighters, they've got more ships, they've got more missiles. I get it. But from a cybersecurity perspective, they are more focused on that arena of warfare than we have been, and shame on us. We are starting to come together. But Liz, I would say this. At the time when we need our government focused like a laser on this threat, we've got malcontents in the House that instead are trying to fire inward to throw the House into disarray at the very time we should be making sure our defenses are up against China.
Yeah, but aren't now tens of thousands of Chinese illegal migrants crossing the border in the border collapse?
Absolutely. It's been 20,000 Chinese have crossed that open border since October. It's a major problem. And this is another instance where this is a deliberate plan by the Chinese Communist Party. They are boosting videos of how to get past the border wall on the TikTok platform. I mean, I understand it. Americans, we are allowed a certain amount of complacency because most days life is pretty good here. But if we don't understand how interconnected these Chinese investments in technology, platforms like TikTok, an open southern border, precursor chemicals for fentanyl are all interrelated, we are going to be moving in the wrong direction.
So there you have it. And let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you concerned about cyber attacks from China coming here very soon? We have resources linked in the description for you if you are interested to help prepare. Don't want anyone to be scared, but be prepared. Knowledge is power. Us knowing what's going on is half of the battle. Now, in addition to that, regarding what's going on, there has been a lot in the Middle East, and to see the latest as to what's going on between Israel, the United States, Iran, changes to nuclear status, be sure to check out this video right here next as I covered it in detail for you. And as I mentioned, I'll be sure to keep you up to date on more things as they unfold. But that is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.